Now, the Ghana Police Service has heightened security at Akwatia and its environs with 8 days to the by-election. An intensified operation in the last week has resulted in arrests and retrieval of guns from suspects. The Small Arms Commission has declared Akwatia a no-go area for any form of weapon, as it warns persons arrested in breach of this directive will be prosecuted. We'll hear from a security consultant shortly. First, however, let's take a look at the operation undertaken by the police service. Now, already we know that 10 suspects have been arrested, 9 weapons have also been retrieved. Now, these weapons include 8 pump-action guns and 1 locally manufactured single-barrel gun. So that's that. But what are the key incidents that have led to this point? On 22nd August 2025, police intercepted vehicle driven by a suspect identified as Bernard Kumi Ofusu, somewhere in Akwatia near St. Dominic Hospital. Now, a search on his person led to the discovery of the pump-action guns and cartridges. Now, the suspect also provided a valid license, and investigations, as we know it, are ongoing at this time. But in a separate operation at Akwatia Y Junction, another suspect was picked up, Joshua Amenuku, after retrieving 15 live BB cartridges from him. Pump-action gun subsequently retrieved upon a search of his residence as well. Then a day after, police have been very busy over there because suspect Peterson Joseph was also arrested at Wedua Livingston Junction, also with a pump-action gun and cartridges. And then a fourth suspect at this point, Stephen Nkansa, was found with a pump-action gun at a Samankese direction towards Wedua. So those are what we know so far about the key incidents. Now, I've told you about 4, although we know that some 10 people in total have been arrested, and then 9 pump-action gun, 1 locally manufactured single-barrel gun, and some ammunition also. But let's take all of this to Richard Kumado. Richard Kumado is a security consultant. We'll have a quick chat with you, Richard. But when you hear the number of people arrested, the kinds of weapons that have been retrieved from these suspects, what are your readings into the situation ahead of the by-election? Oh, it appears he's not ready to talk to us. But let's try again. Richard, I appreciate your time this afternoon here on News Central. But talk to us about how you're viewing your perspective on the kinds of guns that are being seized, the ammunition involved, and the number of people. It would appear within the same, enclave.
Definitely, yes. If you remember what the police demonstrated last week, they showed strength and they showed their preparedness in curtailing violence, particularly those that involve guns within Akwatia or for this particular by-election. It is surprising that locally manufactured weapons are the ones that are being seized. What I suspect is that the police went out there ahead of the election to do some level of search to fish out persons with guns and to pick those guns from their hands before the D-Day. What I also suspect the police will do is to mount a police barrier to ensure that illegitimate people do not get into Akwatia, or people with guns that might create problems for the elections do not get into Akwatia. I remember on the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th of July, when we were in Akwatia to do security risk assessment, the police were also there to do what the military would have called wrecking. And that helped them to do the mappings and to anticipate where the red flags might be coming from. But the warnings from the police that troublemakers should not come to Akwatia, these particular actions and the total number of people arrested might be sending the signal that the police are ready on the day.
I see. I mean, you've talked about things that the police could do to prevent, further cases from coming up, or from people from, prevent people from causing trouble, right? But what do you think the police are up against, looking at the numbers we are seeing already? Akwatia is just, the Akwatia by-election is just around the corner.
Yeah, definitely. Akwatia has about 119 police stations. The IGP Yohonu has declared that he's sending 5,000 men into Akwatia. Even if you pair one police station by 30 men, he still has enough reserves at his disposal. We are only hoping and praying that Electoral Commission will discharge their duties on time. The political parties will take their responsibility in terms of polling station activities. Then the police will create a safer environment for voters to cast their vote for their respective candidates. When it gets to close-up polls, where sometimes issues about distortions and duplications and discrepancies in the votes at the coalition center, I believe the police is ready to provide us safer grounds for the Electoral Commission to do their work successfully. Overall, it's a shared responsibility, and we will encourage everybody to behave themselves around, considering what we saw at Abrekumanok and the videos that came up with people determined to create chaos at Akwatia. So that is where we are, Kemini. I think if we see the police and what they've put up and what they have demonstrated on the grounds at Akwatia, it will be a warning to people who want to come and create problems. At the end of the day, do we want to go there and fight one another and create chaos for the elections? No. Do we want the elections to be held successfully and successful candidates are declared as winners? I think that is the top priority for the police and the Electoral Commission.
I see. My question then to you will be whether or not there is real danger ahead as far as that by-election is concerned.
If you hear the politicians speak, it looks to everybody, or it sounds as if Akwatia has become a battleground for NDC and MPP. And that is why, in response, the IGP said, I'm bringing a mobile moving prison, that I'll put everybody who create problem into the prison. But is that what we want? No. I think it's a known knowledge. The aspect of our elections in Ghana has become too violent, and we need to work at it in diffusing that violence. One way of doing that is arrest and prosecution of troublemakers. The other one is public education, and the other one is awareness creation. And the other one will be for the Electoral Commission to do their job. If materials delay and there's displacement of voters and machines are not working, definitely that is going to create some level of agitation and treacherous elements and predacious characters who will find themselves into Akwatia might use that as premise to create problems. So let's perform our shared responsibilities according to what is before us, and I don't think we are going to have issues. Other than that, the political tension is a little bit high, and Akwatia presents the right environment for trouble causers to embed their vengeance on whoever want to be there.
Good evening here. Thank you so much for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Richard Kumado is a security analyst. We've been talking about some arrests that have been made already in respect of the Akwatia by-election. 10 suspects arrested, some weapons retrieved as well. He's been talking to us about what the police could do to ensure that there is no violence on the said day. But we also know that the Small Arms Commission has made or declared Akwatia a no-go area. Whether or not that works is a conversation for another day. Let's turn attention to something else, because it was a busy weekend of intense campaign for the NPP and NDC in Akwatia. The Chief of Staff led the NDC's delegation to campaign, urging residents to vote for the party. The NPP has also intensified its efforts in the area.